Well, it's a beautiful day out again. It's like 2 in a row, maybe even 3. And it's going to be good this weekend. This is Good Friday, Easter weekend. So we're going to go camping. So the first thing we have to do is refill the propane tanks. This is the propane tank off the front of the trailer. It is empty. There is nothing in here. So we're going to take that and fill it up. And where I go, it's $10 to fill it up with roughly 18 pounds. We got a new mattress in the trailer. So I took a twin size mattress from my kids' beds from when they were little, and they had twin beds, and brought it out here. We got to put batteries in our smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. I actually have a new smoke and carbon dioxide. I bent this little latch place down so that this actually goes over there like that. All I did is bend it in case you ever want to modify your trailer. What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Get out of here. Hey, hey, where do you think you're going? Huh? Where do you think you're going? Get out of my trailer. Here comes Gimpy. Done. We drained the, we're draining the antifreeze out of the trailer, and right now we're just flushing it with water. Here, take a look. We got the outside shower running, the sink inside. We've got the hose hooked up to the inlet water, and we're going to take the plug out of the hot water tank so that gets flushed a bit too. We still have the bypass on, so we got to change the bypass, but we'll take the plug out first. We got to go inside and do that. I've been letting the water run here for about 15 minutes. It's got everything all wet. Now I got to get under the bed and open up the bypass valve. Let's see if we can do that. I don't know if you ever notice this on yours, but if this is loose, it's not really supposed to be. You have to reach in under the cabinet, underneath the sink and way up in the back. And there are screws to tighten, to make it tight, so it doesn't move. There are 2 of them, and they're great big wing nuts. You could probably put a wrench on them and get them tight, but I just do it by hand. And it seems to do a pretty good job. It's not loose anymore. So we've turned the water back on, and now, as you can see, the water is coming out of the hot water tank. We got the anode rod sitting in front of it. For whether it's a, you know, some of these are good and some of these are bad. Some of these are aluminum, magnesium, some of them aren't. Now, I'm going to change the hose from here. All right. Now we will fill up our tank, which is bleeding out from the bottom. And you can see the tank still has some pink in it. And now I'll put this thing back in here. I bought a socket that fits this bolt to make it easier. It's a lot easier. Unfortunately, it's a 1/2-inch drive, and all my adapters, all my stuff is 3/8. So this is a breaker bar, which I don't want to break this, but I'll put it in there nice and snug. I think that's pretty snug. So if you buy one of these, make sure that it's the size of your socket set. This is 1/2-inch and I need 3/8 for most of my socket set. We'll go in and turn on the water pump and pump from the water tank. Now in flushing the tank, in flushing the water tank, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill it and let it run out. It doesn't really need to go through any particular, you know, it doesn't need to go through the hoses and all that. It doesn't need to be run through the pump. I wanted to run through the pump because of course there's antifreeze in the pump, and it's good to know that the pump isn't leaking, didn't freeze over the winter. For a better part of the winter, my carbon monoxide alarm right there and my smoke alarm right there have been chirping, mainly because the batteries were dead. However, carbon monoxide alarms only last about 10 years and smoke alarms are good maybe for 12. This is a 2008 Aliner, so I'm actually going to put up a new one, which is smoke and carbon dioxide. Smoke, heat, and carbon dioxide. Now I don't know. It's got a place to install it. It says it's good for 10 years. It's a lithium-ion battery. First Alert, I talked to them about my channel, and they've got a smoke alarm, 10-year battery life, no battery to change or anything. It'll just alarm at the end of its 10 years. But I'm thinking I'll give a couple of these away because they've got me a really good price. And I think, you know, I want to make sure that you can put them in your trailer or you can put them in your home. I hate to think any of my subscribers would be lost to a fire anywhere, but usually that would be given away in October, which is Fire Safety Month. But let's find out if anybody's interested in getting one of those. If you're interested in getting a First Alert smoke alarm, 10-year alarm life, leave me a comment, and I'll give away probably 5 or so of them anyways. They're cheap. So leave me a comment. All right? Meantime, I'm gonna install the one I have. Gotta figure out where I'm gonna install it. I gotta take those 2 down. Because that just twists on, it's got this little tiny key that you stick in over here, and that locks it in place. Supposedly, it can't come out. And I guess that's on there for good. Works. Carbon monoxide alarms can be anywhere. Smoke alarms should always be up. Carbon monoxide mixes with the air pretty well. Smoke, of course, always rises. 2017, right there. We'll let that empty and refill at least 2 more times, and then we'll put chlorine in it and let it sanitize. While I'm waiting for the water tank to fill and drain and fill and drain, I'll check the tire pressures. You want to check the tire pressures? Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. .47. It should be 50. That's not too bad, but I've got the compressor running. I might as well put some air in it. Bring it up to 50. Of course, you should, of course, always check your TV tires, your tow vehicle. And this is a Ford Explorer. If you know the history of Ford Explorers, 36. They're supposed to be 35. I'll let 36 go. Just another thing, if you don't have one of these really nifty, here on my shirt, one of these really nifty digital pressure gauges, these are the neatest thing. You can get these off my webpage, goingnowherefastrv.com, but you can do the funky bike tire or Schrader valve or Presta valve, and they're very accurate and they're really easy to use. They've got a bleeder valve on them so you can let the air out of the tire if you overfill, but these are expensive. They're about 30 bucks, but hey, 30 bucks to keep your tires in great shape, not a big deal. Again, you can get them off my webpage or find these anywhere. They're a Toe Peak. This is a Toe Peak model. I had another one that was some other model but it looked identical, so I bought this on Amazon. Okay, just a hint. I know a lot of people have asked about sanitizing their water system. After I flushed it for 5 flushes with fresh water, let all the water run out, run the water through the system a couple times to get all the antifreeze out of it, and now I'm going to bleach it. Now, one of the things about the bleach is that this particular bleach says right here, deodorizes and cleans, which means it's probably got a fragrance in it. You don't want anything with a fragrance in it. Just plain bleach, and some of them say right on them that you can use them for sanitizing because it has nothing in it. And so I'm going to use this. You would never want to put this in your water and use it to drink, but I'm going to use it as a sanitizer. But when I'm done, this will all be flushed out. Now, one note, what does bleach do? Every time I've ever played with bleach, I get it on me and it ruins my clothes. That's why I'm wearing a white shirt, so that I can do it. Now what I use is I've got this 2-ounce syringe with a little piece of hose on it that I can stick right in there, and I can suck it out and never get near the bleach if I'm lucky. So now, out at my water tank, I just put this in there, spray it in. And now fill it up with water. I did remember to close the petcock underneath so the tank doesn't empty. We'll fill this up all the way, and then we'll run the pump and the hot water, so the hot water tank fills up so it gets sanitized, and we'll run the cold water in the sink so even the sink drain gets sanitized. And again, you've got chlorinated water, so you got to make sure that you don't get it on you or let it splash. When you're finally ready to empty the system of the chlorinated water. We'll let it sit overnight. It's getting dark out here. It's about 8 o'clock. Don't you love spring? But you got to be careful of that chlorine in there, because it'll bleach clothes, leave spots, eat holes and things. So we're gonna let that fill all the way, and then we'll run some water. Okay, so the tank is full. Now we'll go in, turn on the pump, and run hot water to fill up the hot water tank with that chlorinated water. And then we'll run some cold water, just enough to get it through the lines. Okay, let's go inside. So now we're going to turn on the pump, and no water's on. But the pump doesn't build pressure because there's so much air in the hot water tank. And you're only getting air out of that hot water tank. So we're going to let that go for a minute until that 6-gallon hot water tank fills up. Better get there fast. Okay, now the water lines are completely full. The hot water tank is full. The hot water line is full, hopefully with chlorinated water. Now I'm going to run the cold water, let the chlorinated water from the cold water tank get up to the faucet. Now we're going to go outside and turn on the shower for hot and cold and get that with chlorine in that water line. And that'll be the one that splashes all over us and gets Clorox all over our clothes. So the pump is still on, but we really should turn it off. So we're just going to do this very little, just to let it dribble out, just to let the water get here. The air makes it splash. Yeah, I think we'll move over here. And that's chlorinated water. It would work better if I had a hose on it. Alright, so that should have chlorine water in it. And now we'll let that sit overnight. And that'll disinfect the water system, just in case anything was growing in there. Alright, so we'll see you tomorrow after work when we come back to get that out of there and flush it one more time and put fresh water in it. All right. It's a little dark in here. One thing to note, when you turn on that pump, if nothing's turned on, the pump should be quiet. That shows that your water system isn't leaking. If you got the pump when no water's turned on, you know, the pump shouldn't be leaking. There we go. I turn on some water and the pump goes. But when the water's off, no water, no pump. It's a good way to tell if your camper, if anything's dried out and broken or cracked or frozen. Just test with your pump. You don't want to leave it on, but the next time you come up, even though the pump's not on, you'll get water. That shows that you've got pressure in the system and the pump's holding pressure, and you don't have any leaks anywhere. If the pump does come on and you don't have a pressure, you better look around for where the water's coming from.